All right, back on the show for the second week in a row. One of the big winners from UFC Fight Island 6. He gave himself a C-D+ for his win over Claudio Silva, which was actually the first legitimate loss of Claudio's career. We're not even going to count the first one because I went back and watched that fight, and that was like the John Jones versus Matt Hamill loss. It was a DQ. It was kind of BS, but James Krause back on the program. The James Krause back from Abu Dhabi. Congrats, man. How are you?
Thanks. I'm good, man. Good to be home. Really good to be home.
I was gonna say, because after the win, they're asking you, what do you want next? And you're like, I just want to get my ass home. Like,
get the fuck home, man. The fucking sleep and everything is just a nightmare there. It's terrible. It really is. It's tough to do, man. It's not easy. It's a different animal.
Was it like a little more crazy than you thought it was going to be? Because you're just like, yeah, we're getting in a cage and fight. And, you were pretty nonchalant about it because, I mean, you fought so many times in your career. But was this a different feeling?
No, I knew it was going to be, I mean, listen, they were talking to me about the sleep schedule and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what schedule I'm on. Wake me up when I need to fight. Like, that stuff doesn't matter, but it all is the same still, right? Because, like, you got to sleep. So it's not necessarily when I'm fighting. It's just like I just couldn't sleep. You know what I mean? And I was getting like 1 and 2 hours of sunlight a day. Just little weird things that you wouldn't think are a big player, but they are. Like the travel makes the weight cut harder. Because I took on short notice. I had a real weight cut this time at 70, which I've never had before. I had a fairly tough cut. So it was just a different look, different whatever, man. You know what I mean? Like it's a bunch of bullshit at this point. It was just a little different than normal is all.
Yeah, so it looks like you're still kind of catching up on those Z's a little bit, trying to acclimate.
Bro, it's a nightmare, man. Waking up in the middle of the night, wide awake, and it's tough. It really is.
I mean, luckily you had a baby in the house not too long ago, right? So it kind of evens out in a weird way.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do that again.
My wife handles him. She gets up in the middle. And he doesn't really. He sleeps through the night now, so it's good. But I mean, just the like I said, the sleep, the food, everything. Like you'd be amazed of like how the rest of your day operates off of your sleep, and you don't know until you mess that up, right? Like so, like I was eating breakfast for dinner for breakfast. Getting like 1 or 2 hours of sunlight a day. It's just a different dynamic. It's weird. It's just not what you're used to.
So the big question is, how are you feeling physically? Because you're dealing with a knee injury in the fight. You said you may have torn something between rounds to Mark Montoya. Yeah. Were you able to get any answers on the knee at all?
I got an ultrasound on it yesterday. I have an MRI here in a couple hours, but the ultrasound looked like it's a partial tear of my MCL.
All right.
So
is this better or worse than you thought?
I don't know. I mean, in the fight, you've seen me, what I said. I mean, he's like, "Are you fine?" Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, like, I wasn't saying that to show, like, hey, my knee's messed up. He kept telling me to move left or right, and I was just trying to explain to him that I couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I almost fell over a couple times trying to do it. So I had to like widen my stance out a little bit more, which is why I got kicked so much in that lead leg. Everybody thought my lead leg was the one that's messed up, but it's actually my back leg. So. But in the first round, those kicks were never even a thing. But because I had to get so lead leg heavy to get weight off my back leg, it made them a thing to where it wasn't even hurting me. It was just throwing me off balance whenever I got kicked. It was just different. I had to move a little different than I'm used to.
Were you starting to feel it more and more, like maybe in the third round?
Oh yeah, I definitely felt it. I mean, it hurt. It hurt like hell. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's a factor, but. It never was anything crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like I've been through stuff like that before where you just got to work around it. And, I did. It was a factor in the fight, but it wasn't like, there was never a point where I was like, oh, should I continue? Like that's not even a thing to me.
So like we touched on at the beginning here, you weren't happy with your performance overall. You rated it low, but if positivity here, if you beat an undefeated fighter on one leg. So now the time has passed, a few days have gone by. Do you feel any better about it?
Well, given the circumstances, I feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say I got a pissy performance or anything like that. Given the circumstances, I feel good about what I did. Short notice, 13 days notice with a torn knee. I mean, I feel like I did all right. I won. That's all that matters, really. But given the fight as a whole, that's where I rated myself, C-, D+, whatever. But when you start taking factors into play, like the weight cut, the short notice, the knee, I did what I had to do to win. And I felt like I pitched a shutout. I don't feel like I lost the round. So I feel like I definitely showed that I'm the better fighter. I feel like I nullified his ground game rather easily. I think the striking was a huge difference. I felt like I won very handily. I thought it was 30-27. These guys were acting like it was a close fight. I didn't see how. I didn't feel like I got hit but 2 or 3 times the whole fight, clean anyway. And I was hitting him clean often. So, and that's no disrespect to him. That's just how I seen the fight play out as it was happening.
It's funny because I do so many of these interviews, and a lot of times when fighters have fights coming up, they just say things like they say things. I'm going to wipe this dude out. I'm going to do whatever. But I remembered our conversation like very vividly leading into the fight because it went pretty much exactly the way you said it was going to go. So did anything actually surprise you in the fight outside of the knee?
Nope. It went exactly how go back and watch the interview. It went exactly how I said it was going to.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, exactly. Like literally exactly.
Yeah. I said I was going to stop the takedowns if he got me down. He can't hold me down. He got me down one time, couldn't hold me down. And I knew the striking would be light years difference, and it was. So
now that the fight has come and gone, I do want to ask you about something that has gotten the entire MMA fighting team asking questions. Like this has been a thing since Saturday because you got a question at your post-fight scrum from a colleague of mine, Jose Youngs. And the reason that question was asked was because on last week's show, which you were a part of as well, Joaquin Buckley was on here. And when I asked him what he wanted next before he booked the Jordan Wright fight, he said he wanted to fight you either at 170 or 185. And then he said there was an Instagram DM involved that he didn't want to dive into specifically. So when you were asked about Buckley, I mean, you had a lot to say about this. You called him several names. There's talks. Yeah. And there's talks about like potential fake Twitter accounts that actually caused this beef. So how did this rift between the two of you start?
He messaged me probably 5 or 6 weeks ago and asked if he could come train. And I pretty much just told him no. I said no. I mean, like, because listen, he doesn't have. I know people just met him from his viral video. He's from St. Louis. He's not too far from me. He's been kicked out of every gym in St. Louis. I've never heard a good word said about him. He messages me basically saying he doesn't want to train. He wants to come spar. And I said, well, I'm not interested. Like, that's not how it works here. Like, we don't even spar hard here. Like, what you're looking for is not what we're doing. And I said, like, pretty much no, you're not a good fit. And then he goes on to this thing about how, like, and he says, I just heard at lunch today that he said because of bro code, I can't release the DMs or some shit like that.
Yeah, that was me.
I'll show them to you. I don't give a shit. Like, I told him no. And he got lippy with me and said that it's obvious that he would do me and my guys dirty or some shit like that. I said, dude, I've been in the UFC longer than you've been fighting, man. Miss me with that shit. If you think I'm scared of you, you better get on with yourself, dog, because I ain't nobody afraid of you here. I tell you that right now. And that was pretty much the extent of it. I don't know why people are making that to be this big deal. He doesn't like me. I don't like him. Cool. Like, he asked to come. I said no. He didn't like it. Sorry. Get over it. That's pretty much the extent of it. He said he wants to fight me. Send the contract. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. He always does this. He's called out a bunch of my guys, like, when he was still on the regional scene. He called out Trey Ogden. He's a fucking middleweight calling out a 55er. Like, dude, like, to me, where I come from, that's just kind of a bitch move is all. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and I'm not making it out. Listen, I don't want to make this like a ongoing feud because it's not. I don't care about him enough to have an ongoing feud with him. I just don't have a lot of respect for somebody that consistently is calling out somebody smaller than them. I don't see heavyweights calling him out. We're talking about a 2-weight class difference. You're talking about a 30-pound difference. Like, why are you calling out a lightweight? And now he wants to fight me. Okay, like, at what weight? 70, 85? Like, and I know he's gonna say, we fought at 85. Okay, yeah, I did. Yeah, good. You know what I mean? I fought at 85 one time in my entire career, and I will fight him at 85. I don't care. But I just don't have a lot of respect for somebody that does that. It's a bitch move where I come from, and I pretty much just told you what the DM said. Like, and I'll screenshot them. I'll send them to you if you want. I don't give a shit. Like, there's no bro code. Like, it's not even as big of a thing as people are saying. He wanted to come spar, and I said, hey, that's not how it works here. You're either on my team or you're not on my team. So sorry, I'm not what you're looking for. we'll do you dirty. That's obvious. I beat you and your boys up. I said, dude, miss me with that shit, dog. I've been in the UFC longer than you've been fighting, man. Get on with that. That was pretty much the extent of it.
So it sounds like have you talked to him prior to that, or is that like the first time he's reached out to you and vice versa?
No.
Like that was the first time you've ever spoken to him?
That was the first time. Yep. But I've never heard a good word about him. He's been kicked out of every gym in St. Louis because all he wants to do is fight his teammates. He's not. I mean, look at it. Look at the pictures. He's fucking training with like 4 and 5 people. He's been kicked out of the gyms because they don't want him. And I seen him. He was on Ariel's show, and they asked about him training with Tyron Woodley, and he acted like there was nothing. Like, dude, they don't want him there because he's a fucking asshole. That's, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. People talking about me and being a clout chaser. Dude, I was saying this shit before his stupid kick. You know what I mean? Like, I should say stupid. The kick was beautiful. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a lot of things, and I'm not a hater. The kick was an amazing kick. I'm not taking anything away from that. But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that the facts are the facts. He's kicked out of all the gyms in St. Louis. Like, he obviously reaching out to me for a reason. I had 35 people on my mat this morning. I don't fucking need him. You know what I mean? Like, he needs me, not the other way around. So now you're telling me my guys need work? Get out of here, man. Like, you called me, not the other way. Get on. Anyway, that's all it was, man. It wasn't people making it out to be some long drawn out thing. He's just a mouthy motherfucker, and I just don't. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in this game too long. He can miss me with that shit, dog. I've been doing this for a minute, bro. Welcome to the UFC, man. I remember what it was like in 2013 too.
So it'd be fair to say that if timelines line up correctly, he gets another win on November 21st. We're doing this thing, or you'd be interested in doing this thing?
Sure, I think I've shown by now that I'm not dodging fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I think you're one of the toughest to matchmake for, just because of your schedule and you coaching and everything you have going on. Like, this seems kind of like a no-brainer in a way. Like, if he gets through November 21st, your knee's good to go. We have something here. It doesn't happen that often for you.
Yeah, no, I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting for the rest of the year, or probably the first part of next year. I mean, my schedule's not permitting it. But if the schedules line up, dude, I'll fight. I guess I'll fight him at 85. He's made 70 before, so like, why don't you tell him to cut the weight? You know what I mean? Like,
he will. He said he would.
Oh, perfect. Even better. It's even better. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I would love to fight a guy that's got 2 fights in the UFC. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I remember talking to Kevin Holland before the Darren Stewart fight, and he apparently Joaquin said some things to him that rubbed him the wrong way so badly.
He says shit to everybody.
He wouldn't even tell me. He wouldn't even tell me what he said in an interview setting. He said, "You're gonna have to talk to me. Like, you're gonna have to call me on the phone, and I'll tell you." And Kevin's grandfather actually made a COVID mask with a shadow image of Kevin slapping Joaquin in the face, because what he said was that bad. Like,
so I'm saying, dude, he's just a mouthy shit. He's got a terrible attitude. I just don't want him in my gym. Is all. Like, you know what I mean? He took offense to it, said some lippy shit, so I said some lippy shit back. Like, it's not a big deal to me. Like, I don't have like a hatred towards him. I don't really like the dude, and he don't like me. Okay, cool, move on. But yes, I would love that fight. In any other setting, will I ever fight a guy with 2 fights in the UFC? Like, sign me up, please. Sign me up 100%, please. And he can't make 70, bro. I'm just telling you, he can't make it. I know he can't. If he could make it, he'd be making it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. He tried to make it on the regional scene. He's missed weight. Like, but I'll fight him at 85. I don't care. You know what I mean? And it does not matter to me. So it is what it is. Whatever.
Can this be fixed? Like, obviously he's finding success right now. He's on this wave of momentum. But could this beef get squashed?
I'm not a person that holds on to shit. So like, if he got lippy with me first. So if he came to me and apologized, like, I'm just telling you, what he's looking for is not what I'm offering, though. He's looking for a place where he can go fight somebody in a gym, and that's not my place. Like, go somewhere else, man. Like, I don't want that on my team. I don't want a negative attitude on my team. I don't want somebody that just talks shit all the time on my team. I don't want guys that are calling out guys 2 weight classes below him on my team. I don't want that. So if that's what you're bringing to the table, not interested. I don't need him. Like I said, I had 35 people on my mat on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. this morning. You message me, not the other way around. My team's good. So, like I said, I'm in a good spot. Like, if you didn't need me, you wouldn't have messaged me.
Well, we'll transition here. I appreciate you talking about this, but now that the fight is over, the coaching hat is back fully on, and I know we talked about the Megan Anderson fight coming up in December with Amanda Nunes, but the squad has a bunch of big fights coming up, right?
Yeah, we got Jason Witt October 31st. November 14th, we have Julian Marquez, and we have Jeff Molina. November 28th, we have Sean Woodson and Gina Mazzani. December 12th, we have Megan Anderson. January 16th, we have Tim Elliott. And then we have Dawson, Minner, Kroom, I'm sure I'm missing some other people that aren't booked, and I'm sure they will get booked pretty soon.
Grant's one of those guys that he fights in July. He sees the opportunity because of these short notice things. Like he's like, I'll just fight at 55 because I want a short notice opportunity. I just want to fight. And that was a long time ago, but he keeps posting that he's ready, and nothing has come up. Is he just kind of frustrated at this point? Like, why the hell isn't this happening?
Yeah, I mean, the UFC is grossly over rostered right now. So like, I don't know. And you know, he can't make weight on short notice even at 55. He's a big dude. So I think he's needing a little bit more time than what they're offering. So I think what we're going to have to do is get ready and just take something on short notice. You know, at least some notice. It doesn't have to be a full camp, but you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe. But in terms of like ready to fight, yeah, he's ready to fight for sure. The weight is the only thing ever standing his way on taking a short notice fight.
What's Julian Marquez's presence like in that gym? Because he's such an interesting cat, such a positive dude. Like,
yeah.
What is that like for you guys?
In the gym, he's pretty, you know, straightforward. Like I think you know, he's got his Instagram personality, and then he's got his actual personality. You know what I mean? He's a little bit more laid back in real life than he is on Instagram.
How excited is Whit to just actually have a camp this time and not have to take a flight on like 2 days' notice? That's crazy.
Yeah, he's looking really good right now, man. We're really excited for him to get his first UFC win. He looks great right now.
So you're ready. You're ready to dive into this coaching thing and get right back on track here.
I'm at the gym right now.
You are. You're unbelievable. But listen, I know you probably got a million interviews to do. Your phone's been blowing up like crazy. I appreciate the time as always. Good stuff.
No worries.
Always enjoy chatting with you. Congratulations on the win. Short notice king still sits atop of his throne. All the best to you with these big fights coming up with your squad. Appreciate the time as always, my man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.